Part 40. Entertaining guests with my watermelon, and talking about the closing net for the bandits. Ming Yu took a bite of the crispy and sweet watermelon, and it really was the taste in memory. Now I can finally relieve my cravings. General Wei has already eaten 2 small pieces. He has never eaten this thing before. The taste is really good. He smashes it and smashes his mouth. His Royal Highness, is there any other thing called watermelon? The old minister still thinks about it. Quote. Lu Zifu glanced at General Wei and shook his head. How did this man live to such an age? Really stupid and hopeless. It is entirely up to Ming Yu that Lu Zifu and General Wei can sit in this position, and they are very grateful to Ming Yu. In the last incident in Ningxi village, he and General Wei had nothing to do with each other. He had already written to His Majesty Emperor asking for the punishment, but it was Ming Yu who interceded for them and was freed from censure. His Majesty's imperial decree was also taken lightly, so they were scolded for their dereliction of duty and asked them to write down first, and if such a thing happened in the future, they would be punished again. Ask them to make up for their mistakes and fully protect and assist Prince Duan. Today, Prince Duan sent someone to invite them to the residence. And even if they were busy with business, they were all invited to come. Sure enough, before his words were finished, Ming Yu had waved his hands to refuse. No. There are not many in this first batch, and I have to send it to the capital to give the emperor a taste. I don't have any here now. To be honest, the father is really good to his son. Maybe he is not a competent father, but his goodness is still visible. The emperor is old, and still longs for the warmth of ordinary people's family. So he is a little more tolerant of this foolish little son who is not threatening. This is also the reason why Ming Yu dared to do like this in the palace. If the emperor is willing to spoil him, he doesn't mind doing something that can warm his father's heart. Just think about everything. For example, when I am short of money, the first thing that comes to my mind is the emperor's emergency. The glasses I made, the watermelon I just planted, and of course, I should send a copy to express my feelings. Now that Ming Yu has said it so clearly, General Wei knows that he can't get it. And he still has some regrets in his heart. Originally, I thought that I could ask for more from Ming Yu, and I could bring it back to my family to try it out, but it's a pity. Today Ming Yu held a melon eating conference. As the name suggests, the watermelons he planted in the greenhouse were ripe. Except for the ones to be given to the emperor. The rest were used for entertaining guests. Taking advantage of the good weather today, I invited over, and by the way, the net that should be collected should also be collected. Although Ming Yu explained that the watermelon is gone, but, my prince, I don't know how the watermelon was planted. How was the harvest? Can the people also plant this watermelon? Lu Zifu asked respectfully. Lu Zifu has a unique vision. He understands the truth that rare is the most valuable thing. Today, the watermelon that the prince brought out to entertain guests is sweet and delicious, and it is really a rare good thing. He had never heard of it before, had never seen it before, and was a real rarity. I believe that as long as the people can grow this watermelon, it will definitely be favored by the world. General Wei's eyes lit up when he heard the words. Ouch! Yes. Since the prince can come up with this watermelon, I think there is a way to grow it. Although it is gone this time, it does not mean that it will not be available next time. Ming Yu smiled. This Lu Zifu is indeed a shrewd person, and he asked the idea as soon as he came. However, Ming Yu didn't plan to hide it. He first planted it experimentally, so that the people could plant it as soon as possible. If Lu Zifu is interested, you can ask the old farmers who planted this watermelon. They all grow the watermelons. In terms of experience, they are much better than this prince. Lu Zifu was overjoyed and then hesitated. Such a rare thing, the prince even took it out without caring. Doesn't he know that this thing is in his own hands? How much profit and wealth can be created for him? Does he really hand over people like this? Your Highness? This? Lu Zifu didn't understand what Ming Yu was thinking. Ming Yu saw through his thoughts and laughed. Lu Zifu, don't worry. This prince will not ask you for patent copyright fees. Even if you don't ask. This prince will ask the old farmers to bring a small number of people to try planting. The watermelons that are planted will be sold through this prince's own sales channels. And the melon farmers will naturally have a profit share. Lu Zifu did not understand the professionalism in Ming Yu's mouth. This copyright is something, but he also understands what he means. It turned out that the prince had already thought of it. And it was he who was over-hearted. Xie Yishou, who was eating melons silently on the side, looked up at Ming Yu at this time, but was not surprised by what Ming Yu said. Maybe Ming Yu is the only one in the world who is so different, something that may be precious and rare in the eyes of others, but in his eyes he doesn't care at all. Crystal glass is like this. Clairvoyance is like this, and so is the watermelon today. It's probably not just a simple matter of eating melons? Xie Yishou said lightly. Ming Yu smiled, of course. The most important thing is that the news just came today that the fish has already taken the bait, and our net has already been laid, so it's time to close the net. General Wei slapped his thigh. And finally waiting for this day. These days he has had enough of this slap in the face. The people point behind them and scold them that the officers and soldiers stationed there are useless. Do you think this is what they want? It was the prince who gave the death order so that they could not act rashly, and it has been delayed until now. Now that the prince has spoken, they finally have a role to play, and they are ready to fight to wash away the grievances they have suffered these days. Xie Yishou nodded. They had been preparing for so long. It was time to annihilate them in one fell swoop. This batch of supplies is not only what the emperor rewarded, but also the next batch of goods prepared by the crown prince for Ming Yu. The caravan that Ming Yu sent away a few years ago has not returned yet, but counting the time, if there is no accident, it should probably be on the way back. Because it was the first time for them to travel to the western regions, Ming Yu did not ask them to travel all over the country, but only let them take one country as their destination and bring back as many good horses as possible. Don't force it. After they come back and cultivate, they can set off again with the goods. Once they are born and the other is cooked, and when they become bigger and bigger in business, one day, the reputation of the Dayan caravan will spread in the countries of the western regions. More people will join in. The real formation of the Silk Road. At that time, Liangcheng as a real east-west hub. What kind of sparks will the cultural and economic collision of the East and the West produce? The future of Liangcheng will have infinite possibilities. Song Qingfu carefully wiped the big knife in his hand. The knife followed him for several years, but he was born and died, and now it can be used again. Everyone on the mountain has gathered, and they are going to set off today, with the goal of sending the convoy of supplies to Prince Duan. Everyone's mood is agitated, and their blood is bursting. What they are going to rob is the things of Prince Dayan. Who in the world dares to think about this, but they dare. They were already ready for a big fight. Song Qingfu walked to the front of the team, and what he should say has already been said. He raised his hand and waved it forward vigorously, shouting in high spirits. Go! A team of 2,000 people walked down the mountain in a mighty manner. Their purpose was to recruit Fengshan Mountain. It was also the closest way for the convoy to Liangcheng. They found out the accurate information. Within 2 days, the convoy would arrive at Fengshan Mountain. As long as they made an ambush in advance, They could take down this batch of supplies in one fell swoop. After that, Master Song has already arranged how to retreat, how to stay behind, how to transfer in batches and hide. As long as it is successful, then they will not worry about eating and drinking. They all believed in Master Song. As long as the things were in hand and they did what Master Song said, the officers and soldiers would have nothing to do with them. Song Qingfu has been walking in the air for the past 2 days. When he thinks of this, he can't help grinning. In addition to gold and silver jewelry, there are also crystal glass. These are the treasures among the treasures. The things that the emperor played with fell into his hands. He can also have an addiction. However, the sun was already in the west, and there was still no one person on the mountain road, let alone the motorcade. The people below are a little restless. What's going on? Didn't you already understand it? At this time, the team should have come a long time ago, but what about people? Can it still fly? Boss, why haven't the team arrived yet? Our brothers have been waiting here for 2 days. Sun Zheng was anxious and asked Song Qingfu. Song Qingfu didn't know what was going on. He glanced at Song Lian next to him and saw that the other party's brows were furrowed, and he didn't know what he was thinking. He turned around twice. The spies are already looking for news. I believe they will be back soon. Sure enough, it didn't take long before a spies came to report the news. Song Qingfu hurriedly let people in. Before anyone could catch his breath, he had already stepped forward to grab the front of the man's shirt and asked anxiously, "Tell me where the convoy has gone. Why haven't they been seen yet?" Dare to delay, forced by his power, he stuttered and said, "Boss, the convoy. The convoy didn't come this way." What? Song Qingfu threw the two out. What did you say? Coming here? He was about to lose his temper and kick someone, but was stopped by Song Lian. Don't be impatient. Wait for me to come and ask. Song Qingfu just sat back in his seat. Tell me carefully, what's going on? Where did the convoy go? Song Lian walked up to the scout, squatted down and asked in a soft voice. The spy finally wasn't so frightened, and told what he had inquired about, when the convoy was not far ahead. There were a lot of rocks on the road for some unknown reason. Because the convoy was not easy to pass, their people discussed after a long detour. We headed to the Qifeng River Valley. What? Sun Zheng was furious when he heard this. What is this called? So, their ambush for the past 2 days was in vain? Who the hell doesn't have long eyes and piles the rocks on the road? I have to cut him into 8 pieces when I catch him. Sun Zheng said fiercely. I was really pissed off. Seeing that they were about to succeed, but in the end, they fell short, and their hard work these days was in vain. Song Qingfu was also speechless. Just because of such a trivial matter. Let them slip away from under his nose like this, and the wealth that should have been in their hands would be lost in vain. This is absolutely impossible. This is not only about Song Qingfu. I am also afraid that no one can swallow this breath. Damn, who is so immoral, piles rubble on the road, and those janitors are really squeamish, don't they all have hands? Will there be rubble blocking the way? What a long way to go around, causing them to wait in vain. What should I do? Sun Zheng stomped his feet anxiously and asked again and again. He was really unwilling to watch the goods slip away. Song Qingfu was also anxious, if only he knew what to do. Obviously, everything was planned, but something went wrong. He looked at Song Lian. Master Song, now that the convoy has turned, what should we do? Seeing this scene, Sun Zheng felt a little contemptuous in his heart. This Song Lian is used to pretending. But he is only a weak scholar, what can he do? Only the big chief took him as a treasure. He couldn't wait for Song Lian's opinion, and said directly, Big chief. They are only 200 or 300 people in total. If our people chase after them, it is the same for killing people and robbing goods. Song Lian raised his head. It's not right. I'm afraid. Fraud. Sun Zheng raised the corner of his mouth, showing a contemptuous smile. What is fraud? Master Song must be too careful? How many of them are there? What if there is fraud? Song Lian ignored him. Yin and Yang strangely said to himself, what if there is an ambush? This? Chief Song frowned. If what Song Lian said was true, it was indeed difficult to handle. Unexpectedly, Sun Zheng laughed. Ambush? Just a few hundred people ambushing 2,000 or 3,000 of us. Ha ha ha. It's a joke. Master Song is indeed a scholar. So you are very timid. These days they are brave and starving to death. If Master Song is afraid, you can use it. Go. Song Lian's face was a little displeased, and before he could speak, he heard Sun Zheng continue. Big Chief, our spies have already inquired about it. Have you forgotten? The barbarians outside Xichong Gate are moving frequently. The troops stationed in the border areas are watching closely, and the Red Robe troops are also guarding against the barbarians at Xichong Gate. If there are no troops from these two places, who would dare to challenge us? Sun Zheng made persistent efforts. On the basis of the hundreds of guards under Prince Duan, are we still afraid of them? Yes. Song Qingfu slapped his thigh. Even if there is an ambush, we are not afraid of them. Master Song, just the several hundred guards of Prince Duan. There is no need to be too cautious. Shida Shun's hundreds of men and horses are not all annihilated by the guards in your hand? Song Lian's intuition was not that simple. And Prince Duan's guards were really hard to fathom. Sun Zheng pouted and said dissatisfiedly, can Shida Shun be on a par with us? Master Song, don't be alarmist here. Let's talk about other things when we get the things back. At this time, Song Qingfu had completely turned to Sun Zheng's side. He is really reluctant to waste such a great opportunity. Those gold and silver properties should be theirs. Song Qingfu agreed with Sun Zheng's words. Song Qingfu nodded and said, exactly, Master Song, don't worry, we'll catch up. No matter if they're in ambush or not. We don't need to be afraid even if there are scammers. After he finished speaking, he instructed Sun Zheng, immediately go to assemble the brothers, it is not too late to catch up. As soon as Sun Zheng heard the great joy, he hurriedly went down, and before leaving, he not forgetting to look at Song Lian proudly. Song Lian already knew that he couldn't persuade them anymore. No one could withstand such temptation when huge wealth and interests were placed in front of this group of people who had never seen the world. Don't worry, in the entire borderland, except for the Red Robe Army, our forces can fear no one, and it is absolutely impossible for the Red Robe Army to rush over. Let's make a quick decision, and I will listen to you in the future. Okay, Song Qingfu said soothingly. Song Lian twitched his fingers slightly, pinched a corner of his clothes, and smiled incomparably. Then I'll congratulate the big leader on your victory and return. This smile made Song Qingfu's heart skip a beat. Bring it to him. Only a person as clean as he is worthy of the best crystal glass in the world. Song Qingfu didn't dare to look at it again, so he left in a hurry.